Hello everyone, happy Tuesday, welcome to Nadlan, broadcasting to you from the east coast of New York, giving you daily All right, guys, we are back. Okay, so today we have post number 1+2 from Avishai Vermouth about the bank's consideration in providing a loan to a private customer. So let's get to it. Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to share with you my feelings about and flattering to me for participating in this week Interpreter of the Week. And it is important for me to give value and talk about things that have not been talked about yet, especially after all of the guns and cannons that have already shared all their great tips here. So in the first post, I will share with you a little about my personal story and how I was able to combine with the help of entrepreneurship among all the things I love to do. And I have many. So let's start. I'm 41, Avishai Vermouth from Tel Aviv, married to Tom Vermouth Laor and father of Goni. Goni is our gorgeous baby who celebrated half a year ago, a few days ago. She most likes to smile and all the time and do full puzzles and Legos and are stunning cleverly that would love not move without them. Because one of my favorite things to do is walk my Jeep in the desert, it does not seem to me that there are other dogs that have walked in the desert like that dog. Over the years, I've worked in various and varied fields, nightlife. In fact, to this day, I share 2 bars in Tel Aviv on Dizengoff Street, so anyone who has spent some time in the city probably knows the beer garden, which has been located for the past 8 years on Dizengoff Square, corner of Reine Street. And of course, the Cerveza, a neighborhood bar that is also one of the oldest in the city. I came to the field of nightlife mainly thanks to the fact that I have quite a few friends and I will always try to see as many of them together at every opportunity. Music. I play guitar in several bands, the most interesting of which is my band with my brother and sister, who are both musicians by profession. Yair Vermouth, piano, keyboards, all kinds of traditional Persian instruments, music producer and singer. And my sister, Anat Alma Vermouth, Anat, saxophone player, producer, and singer. We dominate a variety of styles from receptions and wedding and events, rock shows, jazz, to our children's song show that we have performed with around the country, and we have only had over 500 performances with it already. To my delight, I received this gift that I know how to play well enough to perform on stages, but I never wanted to dab in music as my main occupation. I see this as a big advantage because most musicians will always strive to be successful with their original songs and materials and maybe even be famous, and I'm really not there. I really like to play but keep the music as a professional hobby, and it's the most fun and true for me like that. Event production. In addition to nightlife and music, in 2006, my friend Tal Ben David and I founded a business event production company called Orin Caesarea. During the first 6 years, I worked for the company, where we were privileged to work with all the large and significant companies in the economy that work with us to this day. Because of our customers' requirements to produce private events for them as well, we established Orin Private, which specializes in producing events for the private sector. In 2012, I stopped working for the company and left the field of event production, but remained a partner in the company. Bank Leumi. As I already said that I did a lot of things, so at Bank Leumi, I worked for 4 years in the field of private credit, which gives me to this day an in-depth knowledge of the banking system and the system of consideration of the bank, mainly in matters of granting credit. This experience actually gives me a significant advantage in accompanying investors who need completion of taking credit from the bank for investment, and I will detail this in my next post. Real estate. So how did I get into real estate and what do I do today? Let's start from the end. Today, I am a partner in a long-standing real estate entrepreneurial company in Cleveland, Ohio. I came to the field thanks to the fact that I was looking for an investment for myself, and because I encountered a lot of difficulties, it turned me on to delve into the whole issue, and that is how I drifted after friends, family, and other investors, which led me to engage investors. In the following post, I will detail the difficulties I encountered, such as obtaining a loan from the bank without collateral, solo loan, the effects of the corona on the market, and more. I will share my personal dealing with all of these and with bragging past about my activities today. So may we all have a good and blessed week, and see you in the next post. I added 2 family posts. All right, so we can see here Avishai with his wife and the cute dogs. All right, nice. All right, so let's jump into post number 2. So post number 2, we can see Avishai here at the bank, working at the bank. And this post is going to talk about the bank's consideration in providing a solo loan to the private customer. When I started as an investor, the equity available to me was only 100,000 shekels, New Israeli shekels, and I raised everything else from the bank on a regular loan, solo loan. I did not have any collateral or study funds to rely on, and the reason I was able to do so is only because I worked for 4 years at the bank, Bank Leumi. In the field, Bank Leumi is one of the major banks in Israel, in the field of private credit, and I know in depth the bank's credit consideration. Thus, I knew how to adjust my data to the conditions set by the bank. In this post, I want to pass on this knowledge to you so that you can calculate for yourself where you stand. Once you are familiar with the bank's basic system of credit considerations, you can actually know in advance whether the bank is at your disposal, and if so, more or less on what terms and what should be presented to the bank at the meeting where you apply for a loan. Before we dive into the explanations, let's start with an important tip. I want each one of you to open their bank account app for a moment and look at the lending category if they see a suggestion there for what the banks call automatic credit or click for credit. Sometimes the bank system opens the customer an automatic option to take a loan, which is immediately transferred to the bank account without the need for a bank approval or the branch. What is interesting here is that sometimes the term of these loans can be completely good. It is important that you pay good attention to the interest rate, because sometimes these are murderous and irrelevant interest rates, and sometimes the interest rates are good interest rates. After this tip, go to the main point. So what are the bank's considerations in providing an all-purpose loan to a private customer, which is not given against guarantees and collateral? Such a loan that is given not against the provision of guarantees or collateral, but based on the customer's condition and according to the bank's consideration, is called a solo loan. The bank examines the provisions of credit to the customer according to the following 5 criteria. The nature of the customer. By and large, the bank wants to see that it is dealing with an ordinary normative person. Number 2, client capital and collateral. It is important to know that even if you do not have a capital or collateral, this does not mean that it is impossible to get a loan. Number 3, ability to repay. This is the critical part, and I will expand on that here. Number 4, seniority in the bank and proper banking conduct. Number 5, customer age. In my explanation, I want to address the repayment capability parameter, which I think is the most important, because once you know it and can calculate it yourself, you will understand where you stand in terms of the bank and whether you deserve a loan or not. That is, you will be able to understand more or less how much you can get, and maybe you will also be able to make some small changes in the management of the account, which will allow you to get a loan exactly on the terms you are aiming for. So how does a bank calculate a customer ability to repay a solo loan? The key, according to which the banks work, is that the total fixed expenses will not exceed 40% of the total disposable income. Now, we will define what the bank sees as fixed expenses and what it treats as income. You will probably be surprised to know that nothing related to your credit card, shopping, cash withdrawal, or electricity payment and property tax is included in this calculation. The only expenses that go into this calculation are loans, mortgages, alimony, and rent. In terms of income, the bank counts as fixed income, salary, net, income from self-employment, net, receipts, net, or any other receipt that can be proven to be fixed, net. The calculation is done in 3 simple steps. 1. Summarize all expenses. 2. Summarize all income. 3. Divide the total expenses by the total income. A decimal fraction is obtained, which is percentage translation, shows your ability to repay. If the result obtained is higher than 0.45, 45%, you will probably not be able to get a loan at all. But if you got a smaller result, then the bank will be able to load on your account a new fixed monthly expense that will be the repayment of your new loan. Let us give an example from a single account for a married couple, or for a household account. The bank takes the expenses and income of the couple. Income, salary, 12,000 shekels. Expenses, 3,500 New Israeli shekels without mortgage, alimony, or previous loans. Expenditure divided by income, 0.29, 29%. That is, in a simple calculation, the bank will be able to charge up to 16% more on such an account in the monthly repayment of the loan to reach up to 45% of the total income, which is actually around 2,000 New Israeli shekels new loan repayment. Now you ask, what is the amount of the loan that gives you a monthly repayment of 2,000 Israeli shekels per month, and under what conditions will you receive the loan? So at an interest rate of 5% spread over 7 years, you can take a considerable amount of about 140,000 New Israeli shekels from the bank. Number 1, loan period. Usually the bank will be able to spread out a solo loan for 6 to 7 years. Number 2, interest rates. Solo loans as oil are, yes, loans without collateral and therefore are relatively more expensive. The more security the bank has, the cheaper the credit will be. In solo loans, the bank relies only on acquaintances with you without liens and collateral, so usually the interest rates will be 4% or more. It is very important for me to note I am not a certified consultant. I am just sharing with you from my personal experience and knowledge that I have acquired. All that data provided in the post is for illustration purposes only, as it is personal knowledge that relies on my personal experience and personal experience over a period of time. The data varies greatly according to a lot of criteria and individually, but it was important for me to present you with a kind of general picture. There are many types of loan and ways of financing real estate investments, and it is an interesting and fascinating world, and it is always important to take credit in a careful and smart way that suits your needs and character after a deep process of clarifying needs. The picture is from the time I worked at the bank next to a pile of papers, most of which were credit requests from customers. Thank you very much and see you in the next post. All right, thank you very much for Avishai for today's post. And thank you everyone for being with us here today. I want to remind you that we would love you to give us a thumbs up and register to our channel. And we will see you here again if you want to become an entrepreneur. All right, thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to see you tomorrow.